All right. So, hi guys, thank you for coming back to my channel. Shout out to you, shout out to you. Okay, so this video is about 5 things that I love about Malaysia and some things that I also had to get used to. So I've been here for about 5 months now, so I could definitely speak on things that I love, and I could definitely talk about things that I don't like too much. And I was inspired by Amanda Muse. She is an expat that was living in Penang, Malaysia. She inspired me to do this video. She talked about the 5 things that she loved. We have a lot of things in common, but now I want to speak on mine and why I love those things. Okay, so Malaysia. Where is Malaysia? Okay, Malaysia is in Southeast Asia. It's near Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia. Here's a quick map of where it's at. Okay, so the number 1 reason why I love Malaysia is the location. The location is great because, like, if you want to travel to other surrounding countries, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, Brunei, I mean East Malaysia, if you want to just travel, it's really cheap to do that and very easy to do. I mean, I think a ticket to like Thailand is like $80 round trip from KL, so it's dumb cheap. Like, you can't even get an $80 ticket to like Chicago, and I live in Minnesota. Like, you can't get a ticket so cheap. So it's really easy to travel, and it's dirt cheap if you decide to fly with Air Asia. So that's one reason why I loved it. I knew that I would have the opportunity to go to a few other countries while here in Malaysia, so that's why I decided to come here. And also, it's a huge backpacker area. A lot of people backpack through Southeast Asia because it's just so cheap to travel with it, and there's so much to see. Okay, number 2, dua. That's 2 for in Malay. Okay, so the second thing I love about Malaysia is the cost of living. The cost of living here is dirt cheap. I don't know how I'm gonna go back to America and pay the same things, pay for the same things again, because everything here is so cheap. The exchange rate works in our favor, of course, and I mean, the cost of living is really cheap. You're like, if I had more money, if I wasn't a student, you'll be able to live really well out here because, you know, everything is cheaper to live. Like, yeah, everything is just cheaper, and I love it. Like, you can see it's cheap, drinks are cheap, activities are dirt cheap, just because the exchange rate works in our favor. So that's an awesome thing for Southeast Asia and for Malaysia. It's just that it's really cheap. And one thing is, Malaysia is actually one of the more expensive countries in this area, alongside Singapore, which is like dumb expensive, which is just like being in the US or being in Europe, same price. But yeah, so yeah, cost of living, cheap. Third thing, which is diga. 3. The third thing I love about Malaysia is that it is pretty modern. Okay, it's not as modern like Singapore, and it's not like the US, but for the most part, I can find everything that I really love about home here in Malaysia. That was one thing, coming to a country where it's completely foreign, it's new to me, I've never been out the country. It was really hard for me to adjust at first, but once I finally got out and explored, I found a lot of things that reminded me of home. Nutella, I love Nutella. I was able to find things like that, whether it's food, restaurants, certain things, like you can find it here. So that's what made me feel comfortable here within my first few weeks here, because I just felt like, wow, I could find things that remind me of home, so that is not too bad. As far as certain products, I mean, you could find almost a lot of things, but I mean, it's being a black woman, you're not gonna find foundations and things that match our complexions. Sometimes if you go to like Pavilion, which is like one of the best malls here, and you go to the NARS or something, you can find colors, and you also are not gonna find like black natural hair products, like nada. So that's definitely something I didn't really like, but I came prepared to have my own stuff, so it's all good. So definitely that's the third thing I love about Malaysia, is that it's pretty modern, and I mean, it's modern enough that you can find things that remind you of home. Okay, I switched my location, but whatever, you can still see my face, so it's okay. So the fourth thing I love about Malaysia is because there are 3 ethnic groups. There's Indian, Chinese, and of course Malay. So I love that they're all merged together, and I get a taste of all 3 of these cultures. So it's not like I have to be in India to get the Indian experience, but I mean, it's good enough for now until I can make a trip to India. But for the most part, I love all 3 of these cultures, and I'm able to go to Hindu temples, masjids, you know, Chinese temples. It's really cool to see all these different cultures all in one place, so I love that. And I will also agree and believe that I also believe that the quality of life is also really high here. The people generally seem pretty happy. Of course, there's crabby people, but I think people are generally happy here, and it's really awesome to see all the families going out to eat every weekend. I see malls, they're enjoying, and they seem happy and they're smiling, so it's really nice to see, obviously. So I love that. And then the third thing is that I love the people that I've been meeting, the young people, that is, the people that I'm meeting from Canada, Australia, Europe. It's just really awesome to meet people like me that are traveling the world, hear their stories, get travel tips, life tips, all types of cool things. So I'm really loving the people that I've met, and I've obviously will be keeping good contact with them. So yeah, I could go hang out with my friend that lives in Australia. I can go hang out with my friend that lives up in Europe somewhere, whatever. But it's just really cool that I'm meeting these people and I'm able to keep in contact with them. All right, so the number five. I don't know what 5 is in Malays, but number 5. The 5th thing I love about Malaysia is the drinks. The tea tarik, Milo ice, kopi ice, teh ice, like all of it is so good. If you ever make it to Malaysia, you just have to devour the drinks because they're amazing and they're dirt cheap. And I think they add like some type of milk. Carnation. I don't know, some type of milk that makes it sweeter, which I don't think is good for me. But I mean, it takes a drink from 0 to 100 real fast, and I mean, the whole drink is gone because it's so dang good. But I'm loving it. I'm gonna be really sad to leave that. Like, I need to learn how to make these drinks so I can make it back home, back in the States. So I'm loving the drinks, definitely. I think that's like a number 1 thing I feel like is really unique to Malaysia, and when you come here you have to try it. So anyways, those are 5 things that I love about Malaysia. I can go on and on and on, but those are just the 5 things that I can think of in like 10 minutes. So now I'm going to talk about some of the things that I just had to get used to here. Obviously everything is not going to be all glitter and gold. So the first thing that I had to get used to is the weather. I don't like the weather here. Most people from where I'm from will love this weather because it's hot, it's tropical, it's humid, it's always sunny, it rains here and there. But I don't like it because I don't like to be in hot weathers. I don't like to be just walking and sweating. Like, no, like I can't do it. Like my makeup, my hair, no. But I mean, for the most part, the weather here is really hot, really hot. So I had to get used to it. I'm not a huge fan still, and I'm excited to go back to Minnesota. Also, it rains a lot, and I've been stuck in rain so many times, so I had to get used to also bringing an umbrella. Another thing I have to get used to that I don't really like are the taxi drivers. They are super shady. Not all of them, but most of them. And once they know you're a foreigner, they're really gonna try to hike the price on you, just because you don't know. But I've had really bad experiences here with taxis. I mean, not all of them have been horrible, but I've had some. I can highlight like a good 3 that were just really bad. But once I got hip to Uber and I was like a pro on the train system, I just forget about taxi. I try to limit my taxi rides. Another thing that I had to get used to was bathrooms. That was really hard for me in the beginning because the bathrooms here are quite gross. But I mean, you get used to it. But I had to, like, there's some squat toilets that aren't really that bad, but like it's really just like the wet stuff that's all around, and it smells, and there's tissue and used stuff just on the floor. So it's just really hard to get used to that, but I obviously had to because I have to use the bathroom. But I'm not gonna miss that when I leave Malaysia. Another thing that I have to get used to is that everyone doesn't speak English. I think that was my big problem in the beginning, is that I would talk to people and sometimes I would get really frustrated when they can't understand me, or sometimes I'm talking too fast, so I had to slow down. I had to kind of like break up my sentences. But I think I had to learn real fast that not everyone's gonna speak English. English is not their first language. Take it slow, take it easy, it's okay. But another thing is that, like, I used to always just get so frustrated when they would say, I don't understand you, but I'm just like, oh, try to comprehend. But again, I have to remember English is not their first language, and I can't be mad that they don't speak English like I do, and I have to move on and ask the next person the question that I have. So that was another thing I had to get used to. Anything else? The mosquitoes and bugs, nope, I don't like that at all, but I had to get used to it. I think they love my blood because honestly, till this day, I'm still getting like tons of mosquito bites all over my legs, and I don't like that. So another thing I had to get used to, it's really busy in KL. I mean, I'm not from New York City or Chicago or LA, so like this busyness is like really crazy for me to be stuck in traffic. Ugh. yeah, it's really busy in KL. Anything else? I don't know. I can't think of anything else, but for the most part, it's just adjusting to a new system, a new country, a new environment. It's gonna be very different because it's my first time out of the country, but nonetheless, I have survived, I've made it, and I've never been happier. So anyways, thanks for watching my video. Shout out to you, and look forward to my next video because I'm gonna have a whole bunch of more stuff on here.